And the person giving also felt the same hormones and the same feelings. The crazy part is, when they studied this, people experiencing this, or rather watching somebody give, felt the same feelings. On today's episode of the Emotional Fitness Podcast, we're going to talk about why you might be feeling shitty and 4 ways to address this. Now, shitty is just a general term that a lot of us use. And if you're somebody like me that can sometimes struggle to convey the emotions and things that I'm feeling, this can be a catch-all. So, shitty could be anxiety, stress, anger, frustration, angst, pain, any sort of negative emotion you could be feeling that you're just not sure how to describe. This could be it. So if you are feeling any of those things, this episode's for you, because we're going to talk about a few ways to combat that and how to look at your life and address the things that you're not doing right now. Some of these are going to be pretty basic and you might have heard before, but the last one, I promise you, will surprise you and has a list of benefits that you didn't realize. So we're going to cruise through these. The first one is exercise. If you're not feeling good, first thing you need to look at is, are you exercising? There is a list of benefits I could go into for hours on the benefits of exercise. So I will leave that up to you. But just know that there are studies now showing that exercise is just as effective as taking antidepressants. So if you are somebody that's taking antidepressants, something for you to think about and to research. Or if you are just feeling down, are you exercising? It can be big or small. Even 15 minutes of meaningful exercise will make a massive difference in your life. I promise you. The next one is, number 2 is diet. This one can be very difficult to master, but have huge benefits even by making small changes. So this is another topic that we could go on for hours on and discuss all the different nuances. But generally speaking, there are some very good principles that you can look at if you are not looking at them yet. So if you are feeling anxiety, stress, just generally shitty, what is your diet like? Are you eating a lot of processed foods? If so, maybe look at making some change there. Are you eating a lot of naturally grown, organic, or even just fresh produce? Because if you are, you're probably going to feel a lot better than if you're eating a lot of processed foods. Most dietitians and nutritionists will agree that fresh produce is so good for you and has almost zero side effects and so many benefits. So looking at that side, how much protein are you taking in? Are you getting any protein in your diet? If you're vegan or if you're vegetarian, making sure you're still getting your protein requirements. These are some really easy ways to make some big changes. I like to do the 80-20 rules. 80% of your meals you take in are homemade and full of vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and only 20% would be things that are not. That and decreasing sugar can make a massive impact in your life, because sugar is just as addicting, studies show, can be just as addicting as cocaine and can wreak havoc on your digestive tract and a slew of other things. Not only that, it can cause you to have these massive crashes, which makes you feel shitty as you come down. So, addressing your diet if you haven't yet. The third one is sunlight. Sunlight is so powerful because, to be honest, we are all attracted to it and we all love it. But most of us sit behind screens, close our blinds, and hide from the sun. My suggestion, and Andrew Huberman talks about this, he's a neuroscientist, and he talks about getting out in the first 10 to 15 minutes of your day, or in the first hour of your day, getting out for 10 to 15 minutes and getting some sunlight. It makes a huge impact on your day, your productivity, and your serotonin levels as a whole. Now, for the fourth and final way, or the way that I want to discuss on how to look at your life and why you might be feeling shitty. And this one, most people skip. Most people stop at those 3, but this last one can give you a range of benefits and make massive impact in your life. And it'll surprise you. It's actually giving. I know, it doesn't seem like a lot, but hear me out. The benefits, I'm going to go through 5 of them, of giving are massive, can radically change your life. And giving doesn't just have to be giving away money. You can give time, you can give energy, and you can give things. And all three of those are massively impactful in your life and can make a huge difference on how you live your life and how do you feel on a day-to-day. I'll give you a few examples of each. So being generous with your time, helping out that neighbor across the street that might need somebody to move something for them, helping your family when they're moving, or painting, or doing some sort of activity they might need you with your energy, being present when someone's in front of you, not just scrolling on your phone, giving them your energy. Maybe it's the cashier, maybe it's your server, maybe it's somebody down the street that you're just saying hi to. My wife is notoriously wonderful at this. That anybody that walks by, she says hi to, and you know what? It puts a smile on my face, their face, and her face. Everybody feels good. So being generous with your energy, being present with it, and even just those little compliments can make a massive impact in your life, because it's something that you end up talking about and thinking about, especially if it was random, for the next day. And obviously you can always be generous with giving things, as the holiday season seems to be based on, is giving things. So let's talk about the benefits, and there are quite a few. The first benefit of giving is that when you give, it puts you in a thankful state. I want you to take a minute and think, when was the last time you gave somebody something willingly, not out of obligation, but willingly gave, that you felt bad or shitty? I bet you can't think of anything, because those two don't exist together. Your brain can't do both of them at the same time. So looking at the benefits, again, putting you in a thankful state, or putting you in a state of gratefulness or gratitude, because anxiety and gratitude cannot exist at the same time. Stress and gratitude cannot exist at the same time. So when you are giving and feeling and willingly giving out of a state of gratitude, you're not going to feel those things. To give something random or just unexpected to somebody, that the person receiving the gift felt oxytocin and serotonin, dopamine, they got excited and they felt good. The next benefit of giving is that it puts you in a state of abundance. If you haven't given to somebody willingly or freely, I want you to try it. I want you to experiment with it. But if you have, you know and understand the feeling you get when you are generous with your compliments. Because when you're generous with your compliments, you feel that abundance. When you're generous with your time, you feel that abundance. When you're generous with things, you feel the abundance that you have because you have an abundance to give. When you are giving, it actually releases oxytocin, which is and that is your love hormone. And so when they did studies on this, and they showed that if I was to give something random or just unexpected to somebody, that the person receiving the gift felt oxytocin and serotonin, dopamine, they got excited and they felt good. And the person giving also felt the same hormones and the same feelings. The crazy part is, when they studied this, people experiencing this, or rather watching somebody give, felt the same feelings. And so that is why it's so powerful, because when you give willingly like that, it affects everybody around you. It affects everybody around you to feel more happiness, more joy, more peace. And if you're feeling those things, anxiety, stress, pain, all those things can't exist at the same time in your mind and in your heart at the same time. The next benefit of giving is that it helps with purpose and direction. And now there's a wonderful saying from Ed Mylett, is that when you're feeling hopeless, get helpful. When you're feeling directionless, find somebody to help, and find somebody to give your time and your energy and maybe some of your experiences to. Because when you are giving and you're putting the attention on somebody else, it completely wipes away your anxiety. Dr. Jordan Peterson talks about this a lot. Every time in my life when I've utilized this principle, and this is why I started coaching football again, to be honest, is I was at a point in my life where I felt like I had no purpose and no direction. And as soon as I started coaching again, that changed almost instantly. I put my focus on other people and how I can help them. Doesn't mean that my problems disappeared magically, but it means I stopped feeling those things. And when I stopped feeling fear, anxiety, pain, stress, I was able to navigate that bad situation I was in into a really good one, into a place now that is so much better and so much different from where I was 7-8 years ago. So that's one of the other benefits of giving, is that it helps you with your purpose and direction. And when you have direction, anxiety can no longer exist. When you're putting your attention on others, it doesn't exist. The fifth benefit from giving is that it increases your opportunities. When you're giving and you have that grateful, out of a state of thankfulness and out of a state of willingness, willingly giving, not forced, coerced giving, but willingly giving, is that I want you to pay attention and notice the opportunities that come your way, whether it's with relationships, whether it's with jobs, whether it's just with travel or experiences. Because people want to be around people that are happy, that are excited, that are feeling grateful and gratitude. We all become attracted to that. When we live in a state of anxiety, stress, pain, yes, they say misery loves company, but it wears down on people. So when you're living in a state of giving and you're generous with your time, and you're generous with your energy, and you're generous with things, and that can range from person to person, opportunities will open up for you. Multiple times, I can use my wife as an example. She's had people want her to work for them and reached out to her about joining their team because of the type of person she is and because of how generous she is with compliments and her energy and her time. And people are attracted to that. People want to be around that. I'm sure if you think in your life of people that you are really attracted to or just liked being around, it was because most of the time they were generous with their time, their energy, and things. And you felt good being around it. And you wanted to spend more time around them. And more time, and because people, and I say this with opportunities, is that people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. The key there is liking. And so if you're somebody that is going through these holidays or starting to feel shitty, anxiety, pain, frustration, any negative emotion, I encourage you, if you haven't yet, please start addressing these things. Start with the number one thing we talked about, and I'll recap it, is exercise. Exercise, when your brain's moving, your body's grooving, or when your body's moving, your brain is grooving, that makes you feel good and releases endorphins. So start with that. 2, your diet. Decreasing processed foods, increasing whole foods, using the 80-20 rule as much as you possibly can. Sunlight, huge. Helps with your serotonin, helps wake you up, helps make you feel energized. And then the last one, as we talked about before, is giving. Because when you give, it puts you in a thankful state. It helps bring you into an abundance mindset. And this is something that I've struggled with in the past, is not feeling like I had enough. But as soon as I was abundant with my money, I started feeling like I had more money. And funny enough, I started to create more money. It also releases oxytocin when you're giving like that. It increases your purpose and your direction and helps with opportunities. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe, because this will help give somebody else these benefits if they haven't heard them yet, or for your own life. It helps grow this, because the more it grows, the more people want to get on board. And that's what this is all about. If you haven't yet, you can share it with somebody. Sharing is caring. So share it with somebody. And lastly, you can go to lifepurposely.ca, check out our website. I encourage you to sign up for the newsletter if you haven't yet. We have lots of stuff going on there that I'm excited about. And lastly, if you haven't yet and you have questions, please reach out, because my purpose here is to help you bring out the best version of your life, bring out the best version of you. And if you are struggling and if you are feeling lost, I would love to talk to you, even if it's just for 30 minutes to discuss what's going on in your life and to see how I can help in that time. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode.